So the other day I was driving past Dolphin Motorhomes where we are today, and this paint scheme properly caught my eye. This is a wild camp conversion called Quest. It's based on a Ford Transit. Let's take a look. So regular viewers will be very well aware that we do loads and loads of camper vans, especially VWs. We've done loads of VWs. So this is the first time we've actually had a Ford Transit based camper van on the channel, and it's very, very smart. They don't all come with this paint job. This is a wrap, but as you can see, it looks really, really cool. Under the bonnet is a 2.2 litre turbo diesel with 100 horsepower, and that's a manual gearbox mated to that. But it's got a real sporty look to the front, hasn't it? Looks really smart. Let's take a look around the side. So not a huge amount going on down this side. Obviously driver's door, but then you've got 18-inch black alloys. I think these are aftermarket. They don't look like standard Ford items. Behind that, you've got some side steps. They just make the van look lower. I don't know if it has been lowered. It does look pretty low. Possibly, I'm not sure. But yeah, obviously access into the driver's side, locked at the minute. You've got an opening window, real dark tinted windows, so yeah, plenty of privacy. That looks smart. Yeah, let's take a look around the back. So around the back, most of the time the vans that we film have got a tailgate, but this one has got barn doors. So as you can see, we'll have a look inside later, but you've got barn doors, they open sideways. Right down at the bottom we've got the connection for the electrical point, so the hookup plugs into there. So there's no actual holes on the outside of the van, which just makes it that little bit cleaner. Looks nice. There's also a reversing camera I can see there. Again, I think that might be aftermarket, but it looks smart. Now, like I said, the thing that I spotted first when I drove past was this amazing paint scheme. This is in fact a wrap, but it just looks so cool. I don't know if any of you remember the classic TVRs from the 90s that had these crazy flip chameleon style paint jobs. Yeah, that's what that's like. It changed from green to purple as you move around. You're certainly not going to see another one like that on the campsite. Whilst I'm trying to capture this incredible paint, here's a quick look at little baby Harvey. Can you see him? He's in there. But you've got a nice big awning, a Fiamma awning, again side step down the side, and this paint scheme with these wheels just looks really smart. But let's have a look inside.
Just another sunny day in Southern California. It's where the people came to play. Don't let them transform you.
Right, let's start in the cab area. So Ford Transit is normal. Like I said before, 6-speed manual in this one. It's a nice dash actually, something a bit different. You've got everything on it really. You've got steering wheel controls, electric windows, all sorts. It's even got that same paint scheme on the front dash fascia as well. As you can see, I'm on a swivel 2-seater bench style seat here. The driver's seat doesn't spin in this one, just because you've got an L-shaped kitchen here, so it just takes up too much space. There'd be nowhere to put your legs if you were to spin it. One thing that is noticeable compared to a VW is that this just seems a bit wider. I don't know if it's an optical illusion. I don't think it is, because this seat is easier to spin round than I know these 2-seater bench seats take a bit of jiggling around when they're in a VW, but this was pretty easy to spin round. The driver's seat doesn't spin in this particular model because you've got like an L-shaped kitchen here, so you'd have nowhere to put your legs. One negative, which you might be able to tell, is looking at how I'm sat in this seat. I'm obviously very close to the top here. But Lizzie sat here before, it wasn't too bad. But yeah, certainly for me, I'm a little bit too high. But definitely more flexibility with having 2 seats here. So this is a full 5-seater camper van. So let's work our way back through the van. So behind the driver's seat, we've not listened to it yet, but I imagine it sounds incredible, is a massive subwoofer for the sound system. But it's like I don't know, an 8-inch sub or something like that. It's huge, so I bet that sounds epic. So that's attached to the front of the kitchen. So let's have a look what we got in the way of the kitchen. Like I said before, it's an L-shaped kitchen, only very slightly, but that does encroach in space to spin the driver's seat. But it does give you a bit more space, I think. So you've got a 2-burner hob, a Thetford 2-burner hob with electronic ignition. And then further back from that, you've got your sink, which is a nice deep sink actually. Cold water only, as it is in many of these camper vans. But this setup is really easy to clean. You can just wipe down. Now at the front of the kitchen, you've got a decent sized drawer, probably good for cutlery, things like that. It's got loads of user manuals in there at the minute, with lockable catches as well. And then you've got a decent sized fridge as well. So you've got a little freezer compartment, look. So yeah, Dometic fridge. Again, you can lock that as well. And then moving back, have you checked out the amazing ambient lighting, by the way? Very smart. Green matches the outside. So just underneath the ambient lighting, you've got a rail here. This is for the table. The table just latches on here. Then underneath, we've got an oven and grill. So you don't always see this in vans of this size, but that's really handy to have. You've got sort of a shelf there, so you can do toast, you can do pizzas, anything. Nice, handy addition. The heat from these vents is so nice. They've had the heating on for us. It's lovely. Can't believe we're almost at winter already. And then again, underneath you've got more storage, and that goes a bit further back as well. So it's fairly shallow storage. You've obviously got things behind that. So that's probably access to things like the plumbing and the gas ducting and things like that. Next to the grill and oven, you've got another cupboard, and in here, this is where you have your water tanks for the sink. So this is your fresh water tanks. So you've got a separate one for your wastewater, but the huge bonus about having removable tanks like this is if you're set up with the roof up and an awning and all that on a campsite and you run out of water, it's a real pain to put all the roof down and drive to the tap to fill it up. We've had that problem many times. We had it once when we had the glawning attached and it was blizzard conditions, and I had to go with a bottle to and from just to fill it up because we didn't have these. We've got an onboard tank on our California, so that's really handy. And also, if ever they get too dirty, you can obviously just replace these easily. You don't have to like open up the tank and clean it all out. So yeah, there's definitely pros and cons of both setups, but that's good in our opinion. So this is the main control unit for all the onboard electrics and heating and that lot. This is your heating setup, so it's a diesel heater, so it just sips diesel straight from the fuel tank. Really, really good. It's lovely and quiet as well. It's been on all this time, and you can, yeah, just whisper quiet and really kicking out some heat. Next to that, you've got the main sort of overall power supply for the batteries. So it tells you how much charge you've got on the batteries. It'll tell you how much water you've got. It tells you how much wastewater you've got as well in the holding tank, so you know when to empty that. You can isolate the lights. So this is the overall kind of power supply for the whole van. Underneath the heater, you've got a 12-volt socket and a couple of USBs. You've got a 3-pin plug next to that, and then you've also got all your light switches so you can turn off all sorts around there. But yeah, so everything in one place, which is really handy actually. And this being here, especially the heater, when you're laid in bed here, you can easily get to the heater, which is very, very good. Above the kitchen, you've got a shelf that's really big actually, plenty of space in there, that runs all the way back. That's the remote for the TV that we'll have a look at in a minute. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so the shelf runs all the way back to the back of the van, and at the back here as well, you've also got, they've fitted like an extension cord, so you've got an extra 3-pin plug sockets in there, which is useful for charging your phone and whatnot. The shelf runs all the way around the back of the van, and it's far enough back that when you are sat here, it's okay for head height, and yeah, you don't hit your head on the back of that. But this isn't as bad as that seat at the front. You've got enough space here. It doesn't look like a huge amount, but it's not bothering me at all sat here. So that's the table installed, and it's nice and sturdy as well. Often these tables are a bit wibbly wobbly. I know, it's all right. So this was actually still packaged in the back, so it had like cardboard around it. I don't think there's anywhere dedicated to actually store it. You know, sometimes they're in the door, but I don't think this one is, no. So it's just resting in the boot basically, so easy enough to get. Next to this two-seater bench seat that turns into a bed, we've got a tambour door, and you've also got your isolator for your electrics in there as well. So you've got a huge bit of storage in there. There's is there a rail? No, there isn't in this one. There's no rail. You could easily fit one if you wanted to. And then also underneath there is easy access to the leisure battery as well, so you can get right down into that. So underneath this bench seat cum bed, you've got another bit of storage. That's the stick thingy for winding out the awning. But yeah, that goes all the way back as well, so you've got loads of space for things in there. Right, let's try and make this bed up. There we go, I've made the bed up. When you know how to do it, I'm sure it's a lot easier. So as you can see, it's needed to slide forward a bit first. But the good thing about this style of bed is you're not using the bit that you sit on. So it's completely flat. It just doesn't have the contours of the seats that can be a bit uncomfortable when you sleep on it. The back has got cushioning on, so it's a bit like a mattress anyway. And it's plenty big enough. It's a good size actually. You can leave it like that if you wanted to sit up and read in bed. And you've even got reading lights next to it as well. So ta-da! Oh, no, that's bright. Impressive. Right, before we have a look at the top bed, check this out. So as I slide this down, look at the position for the TV. Whoa, how cool is that? Perhaps not so good if you sat here. I'd need a mirror. So obviously, putting the TV away, that's really handy. It's always there if you just want to use it or not. It's great. During the day, as you well know, these beds can be lifted right up. They're on gas struts, well out the way. But then at night time, obviously convert it into a nice double bed. Easy to get up there. You just take your shoes off and then basically climb on the seat. So this is a traditional pop top, however it's got the scenic canvas. So what you can do is you've already got windows that you can unzip obviously on the side here. This is like a mesh fly screen, and then you've got a window, no, same again on that side, then a window at the front. But then what you can do, you see these big zips here, you can undo the whole lot and open up the whole canvas if you want to, and drop it all down, well, lift it all up, roll it all up, and admire the view. But you've got reading lights up here, again, like the ones in the back. And you've also got lights up the top as well. So it's not a slatted base in this one. So it's a bit firmer, but not too bad. So again, like we said, you've got privacy glass on these barn doors, and you can have a look inside. You can see what it's like. Now what I've actually done here is I've left the bed in the more forward position, well the seats in the more forward position, to show you what you've got. This is the table that I was on about. It's covered in cardboard just to protect it. So you want to somehow try and find somewhere to store that really. Obviously if I lift that up, you can see how much space you've got. If you've got a dog or anything like that, or even just putting your bedding somewhere, you can store it and you can travel with this in the down position. If you don't have anything that you need to store in there, you can obviously bring the seats further back and have more leg room, or you can leave it like this and lift this up, and then you've got more storage there as well. So if you want to store taller things, you can do. That tambour door cupboard that we looked at earlier, you can access that from the back here. Plenty of space inside there, so if you want to get things easier or load it, you can do. And then this will be your gas locker. So it's nice thick locker, it's obviously with a drop-out vent, so if it does leak, it won't come into the cabin. Now we are actually trying to find out what you use for curtains on these back windows, and well, in fact all the windows, because we've not found anything yet. But bear in mind, this is a used van, so I'm sure they've either got them in the showroom, and I suspect it's like either a magnetic or popper system, where you just sort of clip them on at night time. I know lots of companies use them because they're quite a bit cheaper, and it does keep the cost of the van down. So it's great to finally get a transit-based camper van on our channel. This Wild Camp Quest has been just a little bit different. The layout's obviously very similar to what we've seen before, but just having that extra width and a bit of extra length in it as well does actually make quite a difference inside. I don't think we mentioned before, but this is based on a 2016 Transit. It is a used van. It's only done 12,000 miles, but it's up for just under £40,000. So yeah, quite a significant saving compared to a VW van of the same age. Let us know which one you would have. Would you pay the extra for a VW? Has it always got to be a VW because of that kind of cult following? Or would you take the Transit, which a bit wider, probably more kit for the money, but yeah, just a few differences here and there. So let us know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and stay safe out there. We'll see you in the next video. Cheers.
And we just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who sent us such lovely messages about our latest crew member, Harvey. We can't wait to start adventuring with him. So that we can keep bringing you quality tours, reviews, travels and consumer advice, please click that subscribe button, and don't forget to also click the bell so you're always notified of the latest release.